I want to start off by saying that the opposition does not support squatting. But what we have seen in Clifton is indicative of the dire need for us to move with haste, for the government to move with haste, to amend existing legislation, to look at existing policies and processes to ensure that the process of land ownership is easier. What has happened in Clifton is that, based on the reports, is that these persons have become victims of criminality. And it is because of their own desire and their need to be a part of the ownership culture in Jamaica why they were left to be taken advantage of by criminal elements. And it points to the need for us as a country to start that discussion and to ensure that the government of the day puts in place processes, amend existing legislation to make land ownership easier. I don't want us to use the term squatting here, because in the Jamaican parlance, when we talk about squatting, we're talking about people moving onto property with the intent of denying the real owner. That is not the case here. What happened is that these are hard-working Jamaicans who heard about an opportunity to purchase land. They used their hard-earned monies and purchased land from someone who purported to be an agent of the state and receive evidence of their payment. Therefore, they can't be seen as squatters in the true sense of the word. So I don't want us to use the term squatters to describe them. We believe, though, that the whole situation has been unfortunate, and the way in which the government has sought to resolve it is most unfortunate. I want to say one more thing. The Prime Minister spoke about criminality and acts of criminality that he's been aware of. To date, we are not sure what steps have been taken. Now, if the state has information that criminal undertakings are being taken place, then it appears to me that the astute thing to do would have been to use the agent of the state to ensure that you curb the criminality and not to create victims out of these persons who already are victimized by the criminals from whom they purchase property unknowingly. What it also means for us as a country and as leaders is that we have to ensure that public education is ongoing, that it is simplified, so persons know that not everybody who comes on and say I'm selling land that they should buy, but they should undertake their own investigation. So I think that it is an opportunity for the government to start public education in a simplified way so that persons can understand the processes involved and what they are supposed to do when seeking to purchase property. But at the end of the day, one of the things that the opposition is most concerned about is that these persons who have been victimized by criminal acts have again become victims by the acts of the state. And we believe that that is most unfortunate, and we cannot support such an action. And I had the opportunity to listen to some of the Prime Minister's speech, and the issue of adverse possession simply does not arise on the facts. That's the first thing. Secondly, the fact is that possession does not mean physical occupation. Possession means ownership. So once you have done any act of ownership, you can be deemed to be in possession of the property. So you could be the owner, you could have someone farm on it, you can put a fence around it, you're doing acts of possession. And the very obvious act of building in and of itself concludes that there is possession. And whether or not these structures were completed, the fact remains they have been destroyed. They have been destroyed, by the action of the government. And it is that issue that has the opposition most concerned. And we believe that a higher burden is placed on the government in these instances to follow due processes and sometimes to even go an extra mile, because it is the government. It is the government. It's not private property. We don't support any breach. But we believe that when it comes down to something like the right to shelter, which is a human right, and because the Sugar Authority is actually at fault, because the sugar company knew about this from last year, they did not do anything. So bearing in mind the compilation of events and the lack of action by the Sugar Authority, then I believe that a greater onus was on the government to engage the citizens, and that was not done.